What's up, everybody? Welcome to Draft Junkies, episode 5. I'm Justin Tribble alongside Jordan Richardson and our new co-host, Dakota Richardson. Yes, they're brothers, so I'm dealing with twice the Packer blood now. But welcome to the show, Dakota. Your first time on the show, so you got to let us and the fans know what are your thoughts on this draft class.
I absolutely love this draft class. It's deep at receiver, defensive line, interior offensive line, weak running back class, which we'll get to here in just a second. But it's as a whole, it's a really good class. I think it's one of the deeper ones we've had in many years.
Cool. So today we are talking running backs, doing our positional rankings. We're all not that fond of the class, but we got to do it anyway. So, Jordan, give me your number one running back.
My number one guy is Josh Jacobs. He is a patient back. He's a violent back, and he's a hell of a pass catcher. He's got low tread on his tires. Being Alabama, they're rotating a lot of guys. He didn't test as well as you'd like at his pro day, but the tape speaks for itself. When he's out there, he looks faster than a 4.6 guy, but I like him. In a weak class, I like him. Wouldn't be surprised if no running backs go round one. He may sneak in there, but he's probably the only one.
I've seen a lot of his numbers compared to Alvin Kamara's this weekend.
Yeah.
There it is. I mean, tape is everything, right?
Yep.
So.
All right, what about you?
Oh, I'm agree with you. Josh Jacobs out of Alabama. He's a patient, strong runner in between the tackles. He catches the ball extremely well, runs really good short intermediate routes. Not the best athlete in the world, but I love the fact that he has no tread on his tires. I think 200-something touches at Alabama. That's going to make it where he can go into his NFL career into his early 30s, like an Adrian Peterson, per se. And I do think that the hamstring injury is a little bit more than he's making it out to be. He'll probably, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's somewhere in late day one. I think possibly to your Eagles.
That could be the reason for the 4.6.
He wants to fall.
Is the hamstring. He just wanted to get out there.
Do you think he wants to fall?
No, nobody wants to fall.
Oh, started to say.
But,
I don't know if anybody wants to fall.
Hey, you want to go to a good team, you got to do something.
I think that, that could be a lot of the reason for the 4.6.
Yeah, because he doesn't look 4.6 when you watch him on tape.
And, again, film over everything. Anyway, my number one back is Mr. Electric himself, Darrell Henderson out of the University of Memphis. There are very few players that you can mention patience and explosiveness in the same sentence and it be okay. Darrell Henderson's that guy. He's okay with staying behind his offensive line until he gets to the next level, but once he gets there, foot in the ground, gone. He's probably one of the most explosive, if not the most explosive player in the country. I mean, that's the type of player he is. We talk about Josh Jacobs being a pinball-type player. Darrell Henderson's a pinball-type player. He's not scared to get hit. He's slippery. I mean, he's everything I want. And I don't believe that we've seen any – I don't think we've seen the ceiling with this guy. I really don't. He played at Memphis. Competition wasn't stiff. But we talk about guys like Ed Oliver. There's still Ed Oliver versus Darrell Henderson one-on-one. And guess who won? It's the little things with Darrell Henderson for me, but I just think that his ceiling is higher than anybody's in this class.
He loves him.
Yeah. Love.
Love. You're not worried about the high touch count?
No. I mean, the injuries weren't there, so why would I be? Like, we want that in the NFL, right? Like, everybody wants the bell cow. Like, everybody wants one. It's hard to find, but me and Jordan talked about it. Look, the biggest thing for him is he's not been a pass blocker very much.
Yeah,
so.
And just not a lot of rookie running backs are.
Yeah, so
it's very rare that you get a rookie that comes in and is an A+.
And you run the spread so much in college that
he probably wasn't asked to do it.
They dump out. Yeah. So anyway, number 2, Jordan, who you got?
I've got David Montgomery. He's a big back, got a big trunk, kind of like Saquon Barkley. He's just got really big legs. He bounces off guys. He's not overly athletic. He's not going to beat a lot of guys in a foot race or whatever. But he's one of those guys that's good in pass protection. He's got soft hands, and he he'll make you miss in the open field. He's not gonna just run away from guys, but he's got a little bit of wiggle for a guy
He's got
that's
some
around,
filthy cuts.
yeah, that's around 230. So yeah, I like him. What about you?
This is gonna be something that you see a lot.
They're on the same page.
Yeah, I love David Montgomery too. I got him at number 2. He's not fast, 4'6" kind of guy, but he can make you miss. He's like, what's the old saying? Like something about a phone booth. You don't want to get caught with him in a phone booth or something. I don't remember something like that.
Make you miss.
He breaks tackles. He catches the ball extremely well and pass protects very well. One of the better ones, if not the best one out of this class.
Yeah.
That's going to get you on the field in the NFL, straight up. So,
but I do worry about the tread. He had a lot of touches the past 2 years at Iowa State, and that might make him break it down. But like you said, he didn't really have many injuries, so should it really be that big of a concern?
He's built for it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Who you got?
My number 2 is Josh Jacobs. Y'all's number 1 guy. For me, I love his vision. I love the way he hits holes. I mean, I can name 5 or 6 things I really love about the guy. And when it comes down to it, like, what do I not like about the guy? He's an Alabama running back, and I just don't trust him. I mean, like you said, he probably going to end up with the Eagles. It's looking a lot like that. I'm fine with that. Josh Jacobs can be a carrier in the NFL. Pinball, once again. But for me, the Alabama running backs are scary as hell. So, for me, I shy away from him being my number 1. Not that he don't have the talent, just that it scares me to death.
No.
So it seems like he's the only one who's panned out in the NFL.
Yeah.
I can.
It's taking Derrick Henry what?
Oh, yeah, Derrick Henry.
3
And
years.
he had one good run. Pocket, I love you, Derrick Henry. Good job. All right, number 3.
My guy is Miles Sanders at 3. He low tread on the tires. Thanks Saquon.
Yeah.
But you're not going to take a guy like Saquon off the field. So, but he's got really good vision. He's got really good jump cuts. He's got a good build. And like we had seen on NFL Network around the Combine, them comparing him to Alvin Kamara, little side by sides, and he looks like it. He looks like a guy that you get in a pass happy offense, and he could be a real weapon. To catch the ball. He's got some obviously pass protection. He's going to have to get better. He's going to have to get more experience with that, get stronger, and he fumbled a little bit too much. But once again, once he gets more wear and tear on him, he'll get better.
He's been moving up boards this week.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that
I
have
see
him at moving him up to 1.
A lot of tweets and stuff going out. Like, I mean, he's moving up boards big time.
He can play.
So, and he's not going to make that day 1, but early in that day 2, his name's coming off that board.
Mm-hmm. What about you?
Number 3, I also.
Who could it be?
Miles Sanders from Penn State, and I really like his game. He reminds me of body type kind of Saquon, with the lower trunk, big legs, patience. He low tread on the tires because he played behind Saquon and he didn't have to get on the field. When you have a generational talent like a Saquon, it's hard to get on the field. But he's a patient runner, and he also can be a true home run hitter. You can see him hit the sideline and go for a long run. Yep. He something else that's going to get him on the field early is he has some kick return experience, and he's pretty decent at that as well. And
while it lasts,
I was fixing to say, enjoy it while you got it, because it's probably getting taken out eventually.
It's good though. It's good.
Who you got?
All right, my number 3 guy is David Montgomery, guy y'all talked about, and like I said, this guy's filthy. But he's one of those players that I watch, and I watch a lot of Big 12 football, so he's one of those players, like, when he's on, like, he could have been the number 1 running back in the country when it was all said and done.
Yeah.
It's just when he's off, he's off, man. Like, he's slow into the plays. Like, it just seems like he doesn't seem to know where he's going at first. And then when he hits the hole, it's just too little too late. The cuts are filthy 1 second, and then if he's off the next day, that guy's getting pounded. So, for me, David Montgomery has all the tools to be on an NFL field day 1 for that guy. The pass protection that's key for him.
Yeah.
That is key for him. His hands, that's key for him. Like, he's going to be able to do all the stuff you want third down running backs to be. And he can be a starter. He just has to find the consistency, find the good offenses, and roll. So I got a lot of faith in David Montgomery.
Yeah.
Number 4.
Number 4 for me is Damian Harris from Alabama. He's got good vision. He's another patient running back. He runs hard. He's not gonna got a lot of make you miss to him.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's his game. I think he wants to run through you. He's good enough in pass protection too. You know, he's not bad, and he's got the build. You know, he could go to a power running team, and you know he's got a good build too. He's not overly athletic and explosive, but you know,
Alabama running back.
It's and you know for a guy that had 1,000 yards in two of his 4 seasons, he doesn't have a lot of tread on his tires because they rotate so many guys. But he could go to a team. I really liked him for the Ravens until they got his clone Mark Ingram, and but a team like that, I think he could really thrive.
Cool. Number 4.
Number 4, I'm going to go for the first time a little bit different than my brother here.
Good.
And let me put this. After the top 3 guys, I think there's a drop-off in talent. If I can't get one of them top 3 guys, I'm going to wait and sometime in day 3 take my number 4 guy, which is Rodney Anderson out of Oklahoma. He's the only concern with this guy is injury. If he did not have such an injury history, he'd probably be the number 1 back in this class. He catches the ball well, protects it really well. When he had Baker Mayfield, he had somewhere around 250 yards receiving out of the backfield, 1,200 rushing yards. When he stayed healthy, he's the most dynamic player back in this class. He's hard to bring down. He reads a hole extremely well. I wish he didn't have injury concern because he's a late first, early second round talent.
He would be
He
really.
was going to fall to day 3 because of injury concern.
Do you see James Conner? I see a lot of James Conner when I watch him run.
That's a good one. It's a real good one.
If he can stay on the field, I mean,
he's just maybe it's his build or he just looks like James Conner to me.
My number 4 guy is Miles Sanders, Booby. For me, like,
I might need to move him up to 1 then.
I didn't catch that one.
I really, really like Miles Sanders. I mean, flat out, he looks a lot like Saquon. Like, he really does. But when I say Saquon, like, I know that Saquon was built for any offense he was going to get in.
Yeah.
And for me, like, I see more like he's a power run guy. Like, he's a power scheme type of guy. And he's going to have to broaden his horizon for me. Like, I feel like that when he hits the outside corner, you said home run hitter, like, he can hit some home runs. And he makes big plays. So, and he did it at Penn State. And I'm saying that as in, like, Big Ten does have some good defenses. Like, he played against some good defenses, and he had a really good season. Low tread, y'all talked about that. But I think that he has to broaden his horizon and be able to play in a more dynamic scheme going in the NFL. And if he does that, this guy is going to end up being the second best running back in this class.
Yeah, I can see it. He can play. And he's got the best excuse ever for why he didn't get on the field. A lot of guys can't answer that question. Why didn't he get the touches? Well, I had a guy named Saquon in front of me, so he's pretty good. My number 5 guy, and y'all know I'm giving him the killer comparison here, is Devin Singletary from Florida Atlantic. Every year someone does it, and I'll do it this year. He looks like Shady McCoy to me.
Hey, you ain't gonna be the only one. You know how many of those I read this week?
His moves in the open field are just killer. I mean, and he didn't test that well. You know, he ran in the 4.6s, which is kind of surprising because he looks a lot faster. But he's powerful. You know, he was used on the goal line a lot. He's got a lot of touches, a lot like David Montgomery. But man, in the open field, he's special in the open field.
It may not be his speed, but his acceleration, like he stops on a dime and then he starts going again just like he left off. Like it's impressive. Like,
he's going to make some defenders look silly, even in the NFL.
Yeah.
And he can catch too. So I mean he's got a role. He's just going to have to
get on the field.
Yeah. Gonna have to improve on some little things, but he can play. I like him.
Dakota, who's your 5th?
My number 5 is Bryce Love at Stanford. A lot like Anderson. He's got some injury concerns that's going to make him fall probably in the 3rd day. Maybe not because his injury concerns ain't quite as bad as Anderson's. But like Miles Sanders, he couldn't get on the field early because he had a guy there named Christian McCaffrey. I mean, that's a pretty good
excuse.
Pretty good excuse as well. No, he's not a big guy, but he is a willing blocker, which might help him get on the field.
No.
And I've been hearing a lot of analysts knock him about his catching ability. I think he can catch the ball pretty well. Runs decent routes, has pretty good hands, and I think that's ultimately going to be his goal, is a third down change of pace back. And I think that's terrible that one of my top 5 guys is a third down back. Most times your 5th guy is a true starting running back.
You said after the top 3 they kind of fell off, right? But for instance, so let's say that Anderson never got hurt. Let's say that Brossett never got hurt. Like, would you feel like this class had a top 5 like good group of running backs?
I would think they were decent. I don't see any true studs.
Yeah, I see a Saquon.
And that may be the thing that makes it look so bad is you don't see
a stud.
You don't see the studs. You know,
it might be deeper than
Montgomery could be a workhorse. You know, he's shown that he can do it, but you just don't see any guys that you think are going to carry a team.
I got you.
They can play in the NFL. They're going to have roles in the NFL.
Yeah,
I don't see any guys that are
25, 30 touches a game.
My number 5 guy is Justice Hill at Oklahoma State.
Love him.
Scary feet, scary feet, scary feet. Like, I'm quoting Monsters Inc. on this. This guy just, like, I was talking about Singletary, like, he just goes and stops and goes and stops, and he's quick as a hiccup. He really is. And again, like, he's one of those guys that has filthy cuts in the open field. He's going to have to improve his hands. I don't want to say, like, just tremendously, but he's one of those guys that just, he gets to looking downfield, trying to make plays.
Those fast guys do that.
Exactly, they do that a lot.
They're always looking for the move.
Running the ball, though, he's the guy that if it's 3rd and 1, you 2nd and 1, whatever, you hand the draw to, and he might go the distance. Like, he's just one of those guys. You never know what you're going to get. But I feel like that he can be an explosive guy for the right team. His is right team, right situation. Yeah. I don't think that he can go to just anybody. But
and he showed he could fly at the combine.
Yes, he did. He did show that. So
really good.
Justice Hill, I'm sticking with you, buddy. So that is our top 5 running backs. Y'all feel comfortable with them?
I love
as
them.
Comfortable as we can be.
As
comfortable as we can be.
I don't love them, but
coming up next, we got Love Them or Hate Them, Jordan's favorite segment. So we'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. We're getting ready to start our Love Them or Hate Them segment here on Draft Junkies. Jordan's favorite segment, of course. So I want to start with you, Dakota. I want to give you Khalil Hodge, linebacker out of Buffalo. What are your thoughts? Love him or hate him?
Oh, get ready, Jordan. Because I hate him. And I do see some talent with him. He's an absolute tackling machine. He's constantly around the ball. Every time you see another team running a play, you'll see number 4 right there. If he's not making a tackle, he's right there. But I like athletes. I'm kind of biased. I'm an athletist.
That thing? We'll say it is.
I just made it up. But he ran a 4.9 in the 40. Didn't do well in the explosion. Had a 9.1, I think, broad. He don't get my dick hard.
That's a new one.
For the record, none of this.
Hey, we're cool with it.
Except AJ Brown.
That's cool. We're good. Hey, we're good. On here, we say what we want.
Okay.
So, all right. So, you hate Khalil Hodge.
He was born a couple years too late.
Yeah.
He needed to be a linebacker in the 90s.
Yeah, he's going to make a solid special teamer. Developmental guy, maybe.
We'll see.
Good tackler, that'll get him on the field in special teams.
True. All right, Jordan. My guy for you this week is Chase Winovich, edge rusher out of Michigan.
I love him. He is motor. He's got a really good first step. He runs with that glorious, like his glorious hair is on fire.
The locks.
He looks a little Clay Matthews, Rest in peace, Clay.
Do y'all need y'all's condolences real quick?
We lost Clay.
We lost Clay.
He's
Nice.
Very sure. But I like him. He plays the run. He tested really well at the combine.
Mhm.
I mean, he's going to need to get stronger. And as high motor as he is, he's a little bit wild at times. But, you know, you want that effort guy.
Yeah,
Some guy that's going to come in there on third down, and he's getting after the quarterback. So I'm a big fan.
All right, cool.
You, I've been seeing some people mocking him like late in round 1. You think he's a late 1 guy?
I don't know that he's late 1. It wouldn't surprise me if someone took him late 1 because of how well he tested,
Yeah.
and you know, he's a football player. But I think he's more.
Somewhere in the second.
I think he's more mid 2 somewhere. All right, Dakota.
It's his guys.
He's giving him.
He's giving his guys.
Okay.
Just stop talking for a minute. That I know where you cut, and then you can start talking. You're giving.
Him first. God, we need to plan this better.
You just
I
talk.
just talk.
You just talk. So you're giving to me first.
Yeah.
All right. Ready?
My guy for you is Jalen Hurd, receiver out of Baylor.
Love him. With you. Jalen Hurd is the guy you want. Like, he's the guy that's going to put his hand out and catch the football. He ain't waiting for that ball to get to him. Like, he's going to go help his quarterback. He's that type of receiver. Really like that. Me and you talked about it a little bit. He transitioned from running back to wide receiver. So, he's universal where you can line him up. Like, he can do a little bit of everything. So, if you do need him to run the ball, that Tyreek Hill type of situation, like, he's great for that. He's a pretty wildcat after he catches the football too. So that creates, like, for me, if you got some yak ability, like, you got all the ability. And with this guy, he's as slippery as they come. Like, he can make everybody miss. So Jalen Hurd's going to get the heart beside his name, and I hope this guy ends up in a good situation because he's got some talent.
No. And my guy for you is Rocky Sin, the cornerback out of Temple. Temple Tough.
Another love.
Love the name.
Yeah.
Another love.
Best name.
Yeah, best name in the draft. You know, he makes the all-name team for sure.
Yeah.
You know, he's good size, good speed. You know, he plays the run. Not a lot of quarterbacks will play the run, but, you know, he's some people said he struggled with speed, but, you know, he was coming from, you know, division, junior college or
Yeah.
division Presbyterian something.
Yeah.
And, you know, he was used to chasing 4.8 guys. It took him a little bit to adjust the guys that run the 4.5s, you know. But he can play, and he's going to be a good starter for a long time, I think. And he'll sell a lot of jerseys. We'll get that Yasin.
That's what's great is, like, he's one of those guys that kind of, like, just kept coming up the rank. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, no one thought he even had a chance to be top
Yeah.
4 or 5 until the combine came.
Senior Bowl, he played.
Yeah, Senior Bowl, he played
He
really
played
well.
really well at the
Yeah.
Senior Bowl.
And it came together for him. It's a good
It
thing.
wouldn't surprise me if he ended up in round 1 because the corner class it's weak.
Yeah.
You know, and it's top heavy after some of those guys. So it wouldn't be surprising if a guy, you know, someone reached on him a little bit in the round 1 or the round 2. He can play.
I got you.
Nasty press. I love the way he gets off.
Yeah, he's the press man team. He'll get up in your face. Yeah, he can play. All right, Justin, my guy for you is Porter Gustin, edge from USC.
Wasn't prepared.
Listen, if you ever watch a guy on tape that doesn't have the explosiveness, the quickness off the ball to compete with offensive linemen in the NFL, this is the guy to go watch. Like, he's not going to get it done in the NFL. He thinks he can beat you with power, and he just can't most of the time. I'm going to bring up getting beat by the tight ends because I don't know how many tight ends I've seen wear his ass out.
Especially in college. They're like blocking tight ends.
I
in
mean,
college.
we talk about, a couple weeks ago, we did the Stanford tight end, Caden Smith, was it? And we absolutely hated him. And he wore this dude out. So I cannot stress enough that Porter Gustin is on my hate list, and I hope that every team that I respect stays away from him. So,
All right. Yeah. All right, Dakota, my guy for you is Paris Campbell, the Ohio State.
And I absolutely love him.
Okay.
The same reason I did not like Cole Hodge, because he's not an athlete. I love him because he is a great athlete. Now, he may be a pure slot, which I ain't gonna knock him because you need those guys. 4.3 speed against Michigan. He absolutely killed him in his last game in the rivalry game. He has a very limited route tree, which I don't blame him one bit. That's Urban Meyer's system. A lot of drags, a lot of slants, but he separates. He catches the ball with his hands. I absolutely love him. I think he's going to be a great late 1, early 2 pick that's going to make somebody's team.
Name of the game is speed.
Slots in the NFL nowadays, man, those are just, I just call them GOG, get open guys. Like, I mean, they flash across the middle of the field constantly. And as long as you're brave enough to run across the middle of the field, it is. So, love them or hate them? Little love, little hate.
I was all love today.
You were all love today.
I was all love.
And Jordan don't really love anybody most of the time. So, anyway, so that's it for love them or hate them. Coming up next, we're going to do a little smoke or fire. Y'all cool with that? Lots of rumors running around. So, stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Draft Junkies. We're about to start our smoke or fire segment. Shaking it out over there.
Yeah.
Smoke or fire segment. Lots of rumors going around. A lot of things heating up in the NFL right now regarding the draft. So we're going to go through and just talk about some of the rumors and tell you if we think it's smoke or fire. Obviously, if it's smoke, we don't believe in it. If it's fire, it's hot. So start with you, Dakota. Kyler Murray, number 1 of the Arizona Cardinals.
Absolutely on fire.
On fire. You got to get something new going? On fire, okay.
Stop the fire.
Wow.
I don't know. I just think it makes too much sense. People are discounting it because they took Josh Rosen early last year. I think Cliff Kingsbury wants his guy. Plain and simple.
Everybody would in that situation.
No.
You with him?
Yeah, I think it's fire. I think he wants his own guy, and just look at the teams in that division. Yeah. They need a spark. They need a spark plug, and Kyler Murray, I think he could be that guy. They need something. They got the Rams, they got Seahawks, who Russell Wilson, and San Francisco. They're on the up and up too. They need somebody. And not saying Josh Rosen isn't good because, I really like him. Someone's going to get a steal for probably what they're asking for him, but I'm totally buying the Cardinals, Kyler Murray.
I'm finally on board with y'all. It's too shaping up. Like, I still don't believe that he'll be the guy they want him to be, but Cliff wants his guy. Who wouldn't want their guy if they're going to go coach a system like that? So, Kyler Murray to the Arizona Cardinals. It's heating up over here.
We're buying it.
Heating up. Something. Heating up. The next topic I want to talk about, how about the Giants? Do y'all think that they could be taking quarterback at 6 or higher? Jordan?
I do. I think Dwayne Haskins could be the guy.
Think so?
I know a lot of stuff came out saying they
rumors.
weren't doing any homework on him. Well, then it come out again later. They weren't doing homework on him now because they've already done all the homework on him, and they're meeting with him. And you have to, in my opinion, you have to believe if you're the Giants and Dave Gettleman that you don't plan on being in the top 10 again.
Yeah.
You can't think that way.
But if you look at your team,
yeah, you could be realistic, but what's that say to those guys if you're counting on Eli Manning again?
I'm with you. What you got?
I'm really torn on this one because I'm going to go smoke because I really don't think they're going to take one at 6. I think they're going to take best player available at 6. I think the reason they traded OBJ, got that second, was to get the Eli Manning clone, Daniel Jones out of Duke. The connection is there. I think there's something there.
I'm saying smoke because I see a bigger picture. We talked about it earlier in the week. I see a bigger picture here. They're going to get a guy like DK. They're going to get the best available defensive player they can get. And then Russell Wilson is going to New York City. And I'm calling it right here. This is not a question. It's not up for debate. I think that Russell Wilson is going to be there. And it's just one of those things where you made the comment, his girlfriend wants to be there. Well, you know what? If my wife wants to move, I'm fucking moving. Okay? So, for me... I was
married to Sierra, I would too.
Just...
It does rain a lot. Yeah.
I just feel like that New York's in a perfect situation to be like, listen, I wouldn't let you go, OBJ. I wouldn't trade you for this unless I had a bigger plan. And your bigger plan cannot be Dwayne Haskins. Okay, Gettleman told Giants fans, believe in me. Well, I don't care if y'all believe in him or not. But I think that a GM that, can make that type of move and say those things to the fans, like, you have to have a way bigger plan. And Russell Wilson is the biggest plan you could ask for. Russell Wilson and Saquon Barkley, who's not going to be excited? Like, that's just that.
That's true.
So
he came out and said, we're not doing any work on Russ, or we're not doing any work on Haskins and stuff. But he also said we didn't pay OBJ to trade him.
What did he do?
And he turned around and traded him. So I don't know that you can believe anything coming out of his mouth. And,
we're going to find out.
Yeah. Y'all's plans, both of them, wouldn't surprise me a bit.
Yeah.
Those are both great plans. But just, to me, the mindset is you just cannot plan on being in that top 10.
Yeah, can't do it. Lastly, the Raiders. We've seen them. They made some, interesting moves this offseason. They've done some things. But there's a big, speculation going around. What do y'all think about the Raiders quarterback situation? Are they interested in a quarterback?
I don't think they should be. I think when you put the pieces around Carr, he's a great quarterback. Whenever he had Crabtree and Amari Cooper, he had over 4,000 yards and was probably, before the injury, the MVP of the league.
In the debate, sure.
Yeah, in the debate, of course, with your guy Carson Wentz before he got hurt. But I just don't think it makes any sense to take a quarterback that high when you've got to give him a weapon, help him out, and maybe if you give him a weapon this year and he doesn't pan out, maybe you give him the Tua, Jake Fromm debate next year, but I don't think it's this year.
I mean, I'm torn on this one because I could see it on both ways. I'll probably say more smoke. I feel like they're probably more so building around Carr. They're going to give him. He might not have a long leash, but I think he's got one. But then again, you read a lot about how much Gruden likes Kyler Murray too. If for some, as well as Locke, it wouldn't surprise me a bit. And Gruden's a quarterback guy. He may just want his own guy. He may want his own quarterback in there. And I'm going to say smoke just for the sheer fact that it doesn't make a ton of sense when you've got Carr, you've got him paid, putting weapons around him. But it wouldn't surprise me.
I think if you take quarterback high in this year's draft, you're just basically trade Khalil Mack, trade Amari Cooper, trade Derek Carr, take a quarterback. All right, full rebuild. You can't be in a full rebuild right before you move to Las Vegas.
But that's another argument. They say, they may want that face moving to Vegas.
Yeah.
But they got these extra picks. Maybe they're going to talk Arizona out of that number one pick. Who knows?
For me, you mentioned leash, long leash. Listen, for me, I think it's fire. And I think that there's a name on the board, and I think it's Rosen. I think that, you get the California kid to come out to California for a year, too, and maybe he sits behind Carr. Maybe he walks into Canton, beats Carr down. Like, I don't know, but I think that Gruden is the type of guy that he is a quarterback guy, and he wants his guy. But you also want somebody that you're truly sold on, someone you believe in. And we've all had this conversation. If Rosen was in this draft, would he be the best quarterback? So maybe you don't trade to go get one, but you go trade to who would be one. So for me, I think that Rosen's on the list. I'm not saying they're going to make the move, but I think they're interested in making one.
No.
So
that's it. And all those videos, Antonio Brown working out with Kyler Murray. Antonio Brown just may have all the pull in this league. He just gets traded where he wants.
At 30 years old.
Yeah.
If you had done that when he was 25, bro, holy cow. Anyway, so smoke or fire, lots of rumors going around. They're just going to keep building over the next couple weeks because we're in that season, It's hot right now. So, smoke or fire.
All right, we're going to talk about the AFC North now. I'm going to give these guys 2 teams apiece, and they're going to tell you what needs they have and some fits that they have in the draft. Justin, I'm going to start with you and give you the Cincinnati Bengals.
Straight up, first off, I think it's O-line. But you can name off, 5 or 6 positions this team really needs. Linebacker, of course, now. Quarterback, if you're starting to, give up on that. The wide receivers are kind of, iffy. I mean, there's a lot of things I see. A guy that I really like, though, is Andre Dillard. I think they really need an offensive tackle who is a pass protector.
No.
And that's what Dillard's going to give you every single down. When we start talking about things like voids that they could fill at linebacker, I mean, they're setting a perfect spot to get a guy like Devin Bush. And if Devin White falls that far, I don't believe he will, but if he does, I mean, my goodness. Like, they're in a perfect spot to have some of those. So it's going to be interesting to see what Cincinnati does.
What do you think?
I mean, I agree. Offensive line, I think they do need to move on from Andy Dalton.
I think we all think they do, but how long are they going to give this dude?
They should have gave up on him a couple years
New
ago.
coach, though, they could.
I mean, yeah. And he's a quarterback guy.
He could want his own guy.
He probably wouldn't have to move too much up to get one.
And he really could, a Drew Lock could potentially fall right into his lap anyway. What do y'all think about A.J. Green? A lot of the trade rumors on him. Find any of that? He's older.
I trade him.
I would too, just to get something out of it.
Get what I get.
I think they need to rebuild.
Rebuild Cincy.
Yep.
I think they have a great head coach to do it with too. Like a quarterback guy that's going to come in there. He's going to try to do the whole McVay thing. Like, I push for that.
Yep.
Like, really get that going. Mixon's going to be good. Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
Get you a quarterback.
All right, moving on. Dakota, what do you think about the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I think there's more holes on this team than they want to give credit for.
Yeah.
They still need to find that Ryan Shazier replacement. They signed Deion Buchanan, and he's a good fast cover linebacker. But
Mark Barron. Is it Mark Barron?
Yeah, Mark Barron.
Same guy, different. And they also they need a corner. They need to give up on Brian Burns. I think he's a bust. You need to get that guy. You still need some help on. Could use some depth at defensive line. You need an Antonio Brown replacement now. I mean, maybe James Washington's that guy, but to me, I think their number one at 20. I think the guy who would realistically be there that fit is Byron Murphy, the corner from Washington.
I like Byron Murphy there a lot. For me, I think that Antonio Brown replacement is the top thing. I like James Washington. I liked him a lot coming out of Oklahoma State. I think that James Washington is going to be a good piece to continue fitting into that offense. But A.J. Brown called you boys out, Pittsburgh, and he said, come get him. He's the guy. And we talked about, I mean, he kind of looks like he might be the guy. So
one AB for another AB.
I don't know if they're willing to take A.J. Brown that, in the 20s, but hey, if they are, come on.
I don't feel like they think they need a receiver that much.
Oh, they don't.
I think that sends a message that they needed Antonio Brown that much.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're going to be stubborn enough that they might not draft a receiver in this draft.
You've won enough, AP.
I mean,
We're not letting you win anymore.
You better hope James Washington is the real deal.
Yeah. All right. All right, Justin. They don't have a first-round pick, but what do you think about the Cleveland Browns? Do they have any holes?
Woo!
Which is the weirdest sentence that's ever come out.
Toot,
Do the
toot!
Cleveland Browns
Get
have
on
any
the
holes?
train. The Cleveland Brown train. Boy, let me tell you something. The Cleveland Browns, oh my goodness, guys. I can't stop smiling when I talk about it. I'm like,
It's weird.
they were just my whole life, 28 years old, my whole life, I feel like the Cleveland Browns have just been, I talk about the Super Bowl, going in there to take the Browns to the Super Bowl. Like, it's so awesome. It really is. they do have a big hole, I think, and that's offensive tackle. I think you got to fill it. Are you going to fill it in the first round? No, but you probably got a top 3 wide receiver in the game now. So, I mean, you do have some holes to fill. You got, they need another corner, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of fits that I like there. I think that if they could, slide in there in the second round and pull off a Trayvon Mullen type of thing, like they've got potential to still do a lot of things.
Yeah.
But find an offensive tackle, Cleveland. Find an offensive tackle, and I'm really going to believe in you. I'll pick them to win the division already.
No, for sure.
I agree.
They still have like 8 picks, so
Yeah.
John Dorsey could, get
Take those guys a slide.
get antsy and move back into the first round. What about you?
Well, without having a first round pick, I think it's gonna be hard. But like you said, they have a lot of picks. So maybe they could slide back into the end, catch one of those sliding offensive linemen. But if they stick with 2, I think somebody like a Yannick Adjusti from West Virginia, he could be there. Maybe a Dalton Reisner from Kansas State. and a corner in the second round. I really like. I can't say his name, but Penn State, yeah. Amani
Wari or something like that.
Let's go with that.
I'm just close. But, yeah.
Big physical corner going on the other side, Denzel. I'd like that.
Sweet. All right, Dakota, what about Lamar Jackson's Baltimore Ravens?
Oh, boy. I got some holes now. Got to find that C.J. Mosley replacement. And I think the biggest need on this team is you got to give Lamar some weapons. You trade back in the first round last year, take your franchise guy. Yes, I think he's a franchise guy. But you got to give him some weapons. And at pick 22, I think a player that could realistically be there that could really help out would be N'Keal Harry from Arizona State. Maybe an A.J. Brown from Ole Miss. Or give him some speed and give him Hollywood Brown.
I like all the fits there. For me, though, I think that Lamar Jackson's not going to succeed unless. I'm saying I don't think he's going to succeed unless, it's the type of player he needs. He needs a guy that he can really, really trust. Do you trust Michael Crabtree if you have to throw it up? Not really. You want guys that you can really trust. N'Keal Harry, I love that because he's a guy that's going to he's going to wrestle people. He really wants to be there. But I look away from the wide receiver a little bit too, and safe options are tight ends when you're a quarterback like that.
Took 2 pretty high last year, though.
If TJ's there, he's your boy. If Noah Fant's there, he could be your boy. I like the tight end to Baltimore. I think it's a little. I think the biggest need they're going to have is linebacker, though, and that's a hard one to fill in this draft. Again, Devin Bush, if you're there, that's probably the guy.
The way they talk about Bush is, they may have to move up unless they, maybe a Mac Wilson in the second, but they don't have a second.
They don't have a second because the Philadelphia Eagles own it.
Yeah, so they're gonna have to. That they would be a good team to trade back.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked about that rookie GM. Why not?
Yeah.
He was taught to do that.
Newsome was constantly moving back, moving up, moving down. He could. He's probably learned a thing or two.
I'm gonna predict right now, just crazy thought, that I think 5 teams will try to move up and get Devin Bush. There's a lot of linebacker need this year, and Devin Bush he fits it.
Did you see how he moved his pro day?
My goodness,
He looked like a DB at 230 pounds.
He can do it.
He's a baller. I like him. All right, that's the AFC North.